If you've been wondering why you just can't seem to be in agreement with somebody else, you just feel like no matter what you're doing, you're always at odds. I think that sometimes it boils down to the fact that we all attach our own meaning and our own definition of very common words. Words like good or bad, right or wrong, being helpful. There's so many different common words that we all make assumptions that everybody is in agreement on what they mean, but that's not the case. They mean something different for each of us based on our own experiences, based on how we do things best, based on our personality traits. But a lot of that even boils down to what traits you have showing up where in your personal process. For instance, if you're talking to me about something and my idea of being helpful or being a good friend is offering you all kinds of solutions, and I'm just interrupting everything you're saying with how you can fix it and what you need to do different and all that kind of stuff, you might be getting really frustrated with me because you're not looking for a solution. That's not your idea of being helpful. That's not your idea of being a good friend or the right way of handling the situation. You might want somebody to just be connected and listen and sit intently and let you just put it all out there and feel it with you without coming up with all kinds of solutions around it. And there's so many different traits that play into this and how we go about things that affect our definitions of those common words that we all assume we're in agreement on, but we're not, and then we wonder why we don't agree with one another. So the next time you find yourself in that situation, maybe take a pause. Stop with the going, back and forth, or stop with the hurt feelings even, because these can leave us with hurt feelings for no reason, because the intention on the other end was not to hurt your feelings, was to not leave you feeling a certain way. It's just treating you in a way that makes sense to that person. So take a pause and have that conversation. Ask one another, what is your thought around what this type of conversation should be? What works best? What are you looking to get out of it? How can I support you going through something like this? Because even though you need to honor yourself, you also need to listen to their language and know how to speak in a way to them that is actually helpful in their mind, even though you might think that is not helpful to me at all. So coming up with that common outcome, your desired outcome that you want from a conversation. And this doesn't have to be every single thing that you talk about with people. It's when you're noticing those disconnects, when the frustration is starting to set in, when you're starting to get annoyed. And I work in this a lot because the whole premise of what I do is basically to help people get along better. But we can even break that down and say, what is your idea of getting along versus what's my idea of getting along? Is my idea just that we don't have fights and we're not blowing up with one another, so I feel like that's getting along? But maybe your idea and your definition or meaning of getting along is that we're truly connected and we do all kinds of things to support one another and spend time with one another and just feel like we're in sync. Maybe that's your idea of getting along. And then even the word better. What does better mean for you? How much more of a difference does it have to be to feel like it's better? Maybe some people might think, well, hey, if we're not fighting anymore, our relationship is a lot better. But to somebody else, it might be like, are you kidding me? This isn't better. This is just, yeah, it's great we're not fighting, but we're not connecting. This isn't actually better. So even with that, it's important to ask and to talk about with my clients, what is your idea of getting along better? What is it that you're looking to get out of this for each person involved? And then we can bring our own individual way of going about things together at the table and work through it so that we understand one another's language. We know how to speak to each other in a way that's going to work and get where we both want to be. And we don't have to be in full agreement. We can just honor and respect what other people are looking at and their meanings and their definitions of things. It doesn't mean you have to comply. It doesn't mean you have to accommodate, but you can come at those differences with respect versus resentment.